Hi everyone, I just wanted to thank you all for the feedback on my Faye Webster video. Thank you for making this video possible and I hope you enjoy. So I'm sure by now you've heard of the punk rock band Paramore, whether it was from your edgy teen phase back in the 2000s or from a certain movie franchise. I'm talking about Transformers, obviously. The point is, you've definitely heard a Paramore song at some point in your life, whether you like it or not. Especially in the early 2000s, these guys were everywhere, with the record Riot blowing up big time thanks to hits like Misery Business, Crush Crush Crush, and That's What You Get. They went platinum in the US and even scored them a Best New Artist nomination in the 2008 Grammy Awards.
You written a speech? Are you prepared, or are you going to wing it?
On the car ride over here, we were practicing it. We sort of wrote out some notes, people we'd like to thank, but we feel like when we get up there, we'll just forget everything.
Yeah, we're just going to be like,
But recently, as of 3 months ago, the band suddenly removed their social media presence and completely wiped everything but Spotify, Apple Music, and any other streaming platform you can think of, completely changing the layout and design to what we have now.
The extra mile.
I'm always running out of time. She's always running out of time. I'm always running out of time.
It's 2004 when a couple of friends, Hayley Williams along with Jeremy Davis, Jason Bynum, and brothers Josh and Jack Farrow would get together and decide to make a band.
Hayley, at the time, was in a band with Jeremy. They were a cover band. They covered funk songs and like R&B, soul, all that stuff. Sure. And so she was like, I got a bass player for your band, or our band now. And he came over, we all jammed one day and ate Taco Bell, and it was an awesome day. Yeah. And we decided to be a band.
They would hang out after school and jam together. However, shortly after gaining the attraction of record labels and assigning to Atlantic Records, and fueled by Ramen in 2005, Jeremy would soon leave from the band, leading to the recruitment of bass player John Hembry as a replacement. However, he did briefly come back for a short period of time, replacing John just before releasing their first album, All We Know Is Falling. The debut album was a great start to the band and was definitely a raw and energetic blend of pop punk and alternative rock, being extremely well done for a first album. Though the album didn't meet the expectations of their record label, it played a crucial role in expanding Paramore's fan base, especially with the emo alternative rock community, both in the US and internationally. In 2007, Paramore experienced their first breakthrough with the launch of their second album, Riot, featuring their most loved and recognized song to date, Misery Business. This is also when Taylor York, the lead guitarist of Paramore today, would join the band. Hayley goes to the extent of labeling him as the heart of Paramore, as he's the only person that's never left the band. Hunter Lamb was out. In 2009, Paramore released their third album, Brand New Eyes, one of my personal favorites, and having one of the most widely recognizable album covers. Brand New Eyes showcases Paramore's evolution both musically and lyrically, with themes of delusionment, empowerment, and self-discovery resonating throughout. A year later, in 2010, the Farrow brothers left Paramore, since the brothers had seemed to be disassociating themselves from the band for the past year, stating, "None of us were really shocked. For the past year, it hasn't seemed as if they wanted to be around anymore." Paramore wished only happiness for the Farrow brothers and their journey. In 2012, Paramore started to experiment with different genres and styles with their self-titled album, leaning less towards punk rock and more towards alternative rock and indie influences. It wasn't as loved by longtime fans, however, due to the ukulele interludes and sudden change in tone. From a user on the Paramore subreddit, I think their self-titled album is kinda like the Beatles' White Album. Lots of absolutely extraordinary songs, but also lots of variety without a standard segue from one style onto the next. So there's not necessarily one consistent vibe across the album if you just hit play. Although this album is a lot more different to previous ones, it still came out with a few bangers like Now, Still Into You, Hate to See Your Heart Break, and Future to name a few. And Ain't It Fun winning the Grammy Award for Best Rock Song in 2005. And you'll never guess who left the band again? Jeremy! Okay, I know this timeline has been a bit of a mess apparently, but I think we need to talk a little bit more about Jeremy Davis.
Yeah, and then send back 90 more. Wait, he got out of P90. Oh, wait, send all 50 down the hole. Straight, truer than true.
And I know there can be a lot of misinformation, especially regarding this topic coming from certain Reddit posts, so take everything I say here with a grain of salt. Jeremy, otherwise known as Germ, 3 months later filed a lawsuit against Paramore, claiming that he had been excluded from songwriting credits to corresponding royalties for the band's self-titled album, which was later solved in 2017. And no, I'm not being vague on purpose, hardly any information of this is available online, so I'm going off on a lot of what the articles say.
Imagine Hayley Williams hearing this for the first time in the studio with Taylor and Zach. Someone plays a preview of the one and only Germ beats. She hears 15 seconds of the hottest bars this side of the Mississippi, and with one swift motion, Hayley immediately changes the self-titled Paramore art.
As I said again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I really recommend you watch Beyond RTV's video on the subject because I have used a lot of his video trying to explain some things. At some point in 2016 to 2017, Zach Farrow returns, and with this new lineup, After Laughter was released. Paramore's announcement on Instagram in August 2019 would state the decision to take a hiatus for individual projects. And finally, in February 2023, just last year, they released their most recent album titled This Is Why. And honestly, I just really love this album. Although it's not on the same level as Brand New Eyes, I really think it speaks for itself as a mix of their past and present. You can really see how much passion was put into this album. There are some real bops on it and some really beautiful songs like Crave, which honestly just makes me ascend every time. However, almost a year after release of This Is Why, the band's socials were wiped clean. The basic rundown of the rebranding and Atlantic record drama is Hayley was very young when she signed to that label, like 15 or 16. The crazy bit is that she signed a 360 deal, which basically what that is the record label will offer financial assistance for publishing, touring, and related expenses. However, in exchange, it will receive a greater portion of the earnings from live performances, merchandise sales, and royalties. The 360 deal is frequently looked down on among artists, and there is a speculation that the song Figure 8 may touch upon it.
Drain me dry, down to the last drop. I won't miss the feeling. My flimsy spine, unsuspicious mind. I was only being kind, but you mistook me for weak. I lost my way, spinning in an endless figure 8.
In short, a 360 deal means that the label practically owns you. The 360 deal is probably most prevalent in the early 2000s, Paramore being the first band to actually receive one. So rightfully so, towards the end of 2023, for the first time in their career, Paramore is independent. We can keep doing this as long as we want, or we can put it to bed and go away. We've always tried to have that mindset about it, that this is a passion. We try not to treat it like a job, but I think the cool thing about now that really is there's no deadlines on the table. There's nothing really in front of us other than an open sky. It feels exciting. It's overwhelming and inspiring at the same time. As for the moment, the only thing on their website is the most recent video for Thick Skull off the This Is Why album. This video is pretty important as it relates to the current situation. It also serves as a sequel for the This Is Why music video. It addresses concerns and speculations of the future of the band now that they are effectively free agents. As for Paramore, the band, not the metaphor, we have crashed the van and we're finding new ways. And this time we are reading the fine print. Just know we are grateful. As of April 2024, this is all we have from them, except for their most recent release being a cover of Hard Times by David Bryan, who used to be in Talking Heads. I think this relates somewhat to the A24 Stop Making Sense tribute album. Paramore's music has definitely motivated a lot of people and has helped me gotten through some rough times, especially to write for this video.
Because I'm low-key unemployed right now.
As I said guys, thank you so much for watching this video and thank you for supporting me in my previous video. It really makes videos like these possible. Originally, I wanted this video to be more focusing on the current situation on Paramore, however, I seem to go down a bit of a rabbit hole with the whole Jeremy Davis situation, so it was actually quite interesting to talk about that too. And let me know what you think of him in the comments, because I certainly have some thoughts. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.